All right. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's having a great day. I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible because I'm actually gotta be out of here in about 30 minutes, okay? But I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys a little bit about the housewives of Potomac last night. I am totally disappointed in Janelle. I am so disappointed in her. That whole trip that she planned and all this back and forward at Stacey is just childish. You know, Janelle is number one person talking about accountability, holding people accountable, own up to your stuff and all this and that. The girl has owned up to and shown proof has come out on social media about her divorce and all that. Now, the thing with her and TJ is still a little shady, a little shaky because I have seen some things on social media that she did sign a contract saying that TJ would get like 50% of her housewife salary. I don't know. And I don't really care. I don't care. Because the thing about it, she's not the first housewife to come on the show and bring a man as their man or their fiance or whatever, their love interest or whatever the case is. There's been other housewives that has done the same thing, whether they paid them or not. Allegedly, Kenya Moore did it on 2 of her seasons. Allegedly, 2 of the guys that she brought on there was just there to say she had a man. Uh, Hell, even Giselle did it a couple seasons back with Jamal. She brought Jamal on there acting like they was back together and this, that, and the third, and they was happy, and she flying to Atlanta, he flying up there with her, and the whole time, allegedly, Jamal was already involved with somebody else in Atlanta. And he never stopped being involved with that person. He only did it for Janelle to get some ratings and have something valid to bring to the show. All this is allegedly, but now y'all remember the reunion where Monique had her folder and she brought a lot of that stuff to the front with, concerning Janelle and Jamal's relationship. Okay, so Janelle, with what you have done and all that, how can you try to call out Stacey? Why are you calling Stacey out? You're supposed to be you are the oldest one on the group and you've been there since day one. You and Ashley, yeah, at this point, you and Ashley been there since day one. So why are you trying to do that to her? That was so childish. It was lower than high school childish. It was like middle school childish. Now you're gonna go and take these roles for these ladies and get them all in brawl. Get them all. Everybody has a role with their name on it except for Stacey. Then you're gonna take time out of your schedule and write a very heartfelt note to each one of the ladies on how you met them, your relationship with them, this, that, and the third. But nothing on Stacey's notepad, nothing, a blank. You could have at least put on her thing, have fun, enjoy the trip, thank you for coming. Hey, you could have just wrote, hey. You could have put anything on there and just sign your name. You didn't have to go into depth. If you still was feeling some kind of way about her, you didn't have to get deep with it. But to not put her name on her roll, to not write her a note in any form or fashion, you didn't have to be deep with it, but just an acknowledgement of her being there was low. That was very low for Giselle, very low. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Hey, I've always tried to root for Janelle, but I did not like that move. That move was very low. It was humiliating for Stacey, and it was embarrassing. And then when she get there to the dinner and she asks Janelle why, all Janelle got to say, well, I don't know who he is. Last year, you this person. This year, you that person. Nobody's the same. Everybody changed from year to year, and especially on these housewives and these reality shows. Every year is something different. Every year something has changed about them, whatever it is. Whether they're in a relationship, they going through a divorce, they not with the man they were the previous season, and they with someone new, and all this kind of stuff. So that was not even a valid reason or an excuse to give her. That was not. You should have just told the girl plain and simple, I really didn't want you to be here. And if you felt that way, you should not have brought her. You should not have brought this girl there to humiliate her like that around the group. And then when she tried to question you, you got this very vague excuse for why you did what you did. That was crazy. That just, I didn't like that at all. I think Janelle owed this girl an apology. I think she needs to sit down with this girl because Stacey hasn't done anything from all the seasons that I have watched, all these housewives. She hasn't done anything any different than any other housewife has done. She has not. And hey, if she wanted to get back with her ex-husband now and things didn't work out with her and TJ, or TJ was just a step in to get her on the show or whatever the case is, then so be it. So be it. So be it. People do that all the time. People divorce, and once they divorce and take a little space to kind of think things out and do what they gotta do. Hell, Robin, look at Robin and Warren. Your Bessie Janelle. They did the same thing. Warren cheated on her and did all this stuff, but she stood by him because she still loved him and she stayed with him regardless of what Giselle thought, her family thought, or anybody. This is what she want to do. Now, I have heard that now she has re-divorced Warren. I don't know. Allegedly. I don't know. But she did the same thing. People do it all the time. People do it all the time. You're with a person for so long, you start growing apart and whatever. And then when you're separated, you start, you start, your feelings start coming back, or, y'all start rekindling stuff. It's nothing wrong with that. People do that all the time in everyday life. It happens all the time. But for you to just be on this girl's neck constantly about her husband, if she were or were not divorced, including Ashley, she's in that little thing with you, and to be on her back about the TJ situation. So what? You may not have paid, Giselle may not have paid Jamal, but he was on there, and we all know that was fake as hell. We could see that was fake, allegedly. But we could see through it. It wasn't right. There was something going on there that wasn't, So what? So what? If that's what that girl want to do. They already done it last episode. They already done talked about the girl breath so bad. But, she took it. She took that and she just took it, a hit on the chin, and she just kept on going. Instead of one of them pulling this girl to the side and said, hey, Stacey, we don't really know what's going on, but, you might want to carry you some mints with you or something like that. If you want to build up this sisterhood, which y'all always preaching, sisterhood, empowering women, but these shows are constantly beating down women. They're constantly belittling each other and talking down to each other. But if that's what y'all wanted to do, or anybody in this group that smelled Stacey's breath and felt like it was to the point that somebody needed to have a conversation with her, that's what should have happened. Somebody should have pulled her to the side. If something going on with me and my girl is out and we having lunch and something get in my mouth or something get in my teeth, she gonna tell me, hey, there's something in your teeth. Go ahead and wipe that off. She's gonna do that. She's not gonna let me get up out of there, go out around other people with something in my teeth or something on my face or something. And I would do the same thing for them. You don't do that when you're supposedly be friends, or supposedly be all about sisterhood and building up the next lady and all this. Then y'all coming at Angel talking about she look like on her social media outlet. She don't look like the same girl. So what if she used filters? So what if her pictures look different? Everybody use filters. Everybody. And if that's what they want to do, then fine. It ain't no worse. Using filters ain't no worse than going and having plastic surgery. It's no worse. If you don't feel good about something, about your appearance or something about your body, and you can use a filter to adjust it a little bit and get it to where you like it, then do it. So what? So what? Y'all coming at her now about these filters, and she don't look like the same girl. And y'all sitting over there, you and Wendy sitting over there trying to figure out when the girl graduated from college and if she graduated, this, that, and the third. And Wendy, and I know this all happened before this stuff went down with her and her husband. She the last to be calling out anybody, or she the last to be trying to throw some punches at somebody with everything, all the skeleton that's coming out of her closet. You got to be careful what you put out there and how you treat people and how you talk to people, because that stuff is karma. It will come back on you. But I'm like, oh my Lord, I guess Janelle really thinks she says she in charge now of saving a hoe. She's a saver hoe. If that's your title you want to take and that's what you want to do, you need to check yourself first. And you need to work on yourself first, because you're definitely not perfect. You definitely don't need to be tearing down every week, tearing down these women, these new people that's coming into the show, tearing them down for however they're choosing to lead their life. And I understand it's all about drama and it's all about who can bring the most drama that can stay relevant on the show. Cool. But when are these women going to learn that if you're going to go on a show and you're going to promote sisterhood and you're going to promote women empowerment, then you got to do that. You got to show that. You can't be 1 minute sitting up here criticizing and talking about, someone hygiene, or talking about the way somebody look on a filter and don't look like that in person. You got to sit up here and question every move somebody made when you ain't being transparent about the shit going on in your own life. You ain't even being as transparent. Stacey asked you about this man you with, and you like trying to jump around it, and then they go to your buddy over there, Ashley, and that's like, well, they did meet, blah 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 blah. They had a couple of dates, blah blah blah. That ain't Ashley place to explain what someone is asking you. Be transparent. You want everybody else to be transparent? You be transparent. I mean, if you're dating, you're dating. You're single. You have the right to do that. But if you want to be all up in everybody else's business on who they dating, what they got going on, and all this kind of stuff, but you want to date over here on the side, and you don't want nobody to know about what you got going on. You don't want to talk about you dating. That really just baffled me. That I be so confused with these different reality shows, talking about what they want. They want you to talk about what they want to talk about. And it's okay for everybody else to talk about their business and put all their stuff out there, but they just want to share what they want to share. And it kind of brings me back to Love and Marriage Huntsville, where Tisha had made the statement, and I know I'm jumping around, but she had made the statement like, children's and marriages should be off the table. We shouldn't talk about the children in marriage. Okay, girl, are you crazy? What is the name of your show? Love and Marriage Huntsville? So marriage absolutely should be on the table. I can understand children. Leave the children's out of it. But marriage, that's the show. That's the name of the show. So I don't understand these people. They get on these on these TV shows, these reality shows on national TV, and they don't want to be. They want everybody else around them to be transparent, but they don't want to be transparent. And then when you start asking them questions, then they want to get all defensive and they want to start jumping all over, jumping off the moon and everything, trying to pull attention away from them to somebody else. And everything else that's going on with somebody else. You know what I mean? Because when they started talking to her about Giselle, about this man and all this kind of stuff, she instantly tried to redirect that conversation. Then she want to jump over here to Angel and start talking about the pictures that Angel got on her social media and all this kind of stuff. It's just crazy. And I have to give it to Stacey. She definitely held her composure very well. And she has held it very well since she's been on the show with all the jabs that they throwing at her. She's been handling it very well, I believe. And even when she was saying she was divorced, I believed her. Now the thing with TJ, had some questions. I did have some questions, but I believed her when she said she was divorced, and I believed her once her and her husband separated, and then they started back spending time together for their daughter, that things might not re-spark up with them. And that's what happened. That's what happened, So, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. It happens all the time. People do it all the time. People be married for like 20, 30 years, and they may end up separating, and then they may go to some family functions or be around the grandkids or be this, that, and the third, and they end up, getting back to where they were and the reason why they actually fell in love with each other and was together anyway. And they get back together. Everybody kind of grow apart at a certain point, and then they come back together, and some people don't come back together. But whichever way it goes for whoever, then that's just what it is. But I'm just I was just done with Giselle last night. I was done with her because I'm like, come on now. It wasn't going to cost you any more to get this girl name put on this robe. It wasn't going to cost you any more to put a thank you on this notepad for her this notie for her and put it on her table. Or, like I said, if you didn't want to get deep, you didn't have to say thank you. You could have just said, have fun, enjoy the trip. That's all you had to say. That's it. End of discussion. And then she came to you. You could have said, well, hey, I wrote you a note. I told you to have fun and to enjoy the trip. And at the moment, that's what came to mind, and that's what I wrote to you. That's all you had to do. That's all you had to do. I have been on trips before where I've did the same thing. I've did little gift bags, and I did little noties, and I've talked about how I met this person and the type of relationship I had with this person. And if it was someone included on the trip, because we was doing a group thing and I may have not known them as well or whatever the case, then I would at least put on there, thank you for coming to enjoy this vacation with us. So thank you for, spending this time with us to make memories or whatever, whatever. But, girl, Giselle, girl, you was lower than high school petty. That was middle school petty. And like I said, you simply could have just not invited the girl. There are a lot of times people go on groups, trips on these reality shows, and sometime if there's a conflict going between some of the girls, they don't invite all the girls. You see it on all the shows. If it's something going on, especially the host, if the host got something going on and with one of the girls, then they just don't invite her. And you should not have invited her there to try to humiliate her, because that's exactly what your goal was. And then when they was in the room and she was looking around and Wendy pointed out, well, Stacey, there's your robe. It doesn't have your name on it. And I think it was it Jess? It must have been Jess that said it. And that's a large. You don't wear no large. Come on, Giselle. You know what you was doing. You didn't put her name on there. You got her a large robe, which she's not large. She's very thin. She's seen to be tall on TV, but she may not even be that tall, but she's very thin. So you know damn well this girl did not wear no large. But you hang up this large robe there for her with nothing on her robe, nothing on her little makeup pouch or whatever that was, Come on, Giselle. Your intention, you went into that with the intention to embarrass this girl and humiliate her. That's exactly, that was your intention. It wasn't that you couldn't think of nothing to say. It wasn't that you didn't know who she was. It wasn't that you wasn't clear of the type of relationship you and her had. It wasn't any of that. The fact of it was you wanted to humiliate this girl, embarrass her in front of everybody, because you knew, even with you putting her, Wendy, and Jazz in the same room, that one of them was going to point out to her that her robe did not have her name on it, her makeup case did not have her initial on it, and her note did not have nothing on it. It was blank, because they had already gotten theirs. Wendy had gotten hers, Jazz had gotten hers, and they had read their little notes. And they showing the whole cast, going around showing the whole cast, reading their notes. So you already knew, you're going to single her out like that because you say you're not sure who she is. Last year she this person, you don't know them. Bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit, because somebody would have did that to you, to Giselle. Oh, she probably would have ended up leaving. It would have been a whole different situation. She would not have kept her mouth closed and stayed as calm with it as Stacey did. She would have raised hell. She wouldn't have had that at all if somebody would have did that to her. So it's just crazy. Come on, Giselle. You're too old for that. You're too old for this mess. You're too old for that kind of mess, for that pettiness. I mean, you can bring the mess like you normally do, but you need to pick and choose the messes that you bring. What you did last night was just petty. It wasn't about drama or anything, or keeping someone entertained. What it made you look like you the petty person. You're very petty, and for some reason it seemed like you taking this more personal, that you got something more against Stacey than what you're saying. And why? I mean, she's a beautiful girl, but so are you. So is Giselle. All the women are beautiful, but then you're gonna go also and bring Jazz, knowing her and Kay has a problem. You knew her and Kay had a problem, so you knew that was going to be a problem. You knew that. I mean, that's fine. Celebrate her bridal shower or whatever. That's something you could have planned back in the States. if you wanted to, and then you could have brought different girls to, invited different girls. Because like Stacey said, if you're going to invite Jazz, you might well go invite Sharice. Why not? Sharice has been a friend to the show for years. She was one of the original. So, and y'all all supposed to be still buddy, buddy, buddy. Why you didn't invite Sharice to come to the store? Come on a vacation. Because you're messy. You're messy than messy. And you want to walk around here now you know, Karen's not there or back yet. She probably back on the next episode, the next season. But now you're supposed to be in charge of keeping everybody in check, and you're supposed to be the head honcho, you know, keeping all the girls in check and all this kind of stuff. Somebody need to check you. Ashley should have checked you last night on that, because that was wrong. I don't care if it was your trip. That was wrong. You should not have done that girl like that, because I'm telling you, karma is a bitch, and karma will probably come back around. When, we don't know, but it will come back around and stuff. And you know, I feel like, you know, Wendy, I think, did start the conversation about the robe and the note card and all that. But I think that more people should have spoke up and asked her, like, that wasn't cool. They should have told her, you know, it's your trip, and we all appreciate you inviting us, but that wasn't cool. It didn't cost any more. It didn't take any more effort out of your schedule to give her the same respect and the same thing that you gave the rest of the ladies. That was a low blow. That was a low blow for me, and I just don't understand why she did it. I mean, you trying to put it off on everything this first season, the way things went with Stacey, and this season and all that. But Stacey hasn't done any more than what you have. You brought Jamal on there, Giselle. If you don't remember, we all kind of was looking at that sideways, and then Monique kind of blew it out the water at the reunion. Other housewives have brought different men's around to be valid on the show and show that they got a man, and that's just what it is. But that was wrong, especially since you did the same thing. You may not have paid Jamal, but you brought him on the show for that reason only. And it was pretty clear throughout the whole show that y'all was not a couple like that. Y'all was still on a parenting couple, parenting y'all daughters. So, you know, I'm just saying, you know, you have to watch how you treat people, because it will come back on you. And if something is not right, or you're in a group, or you're around women and they are belittling another woman, then you should speak up. You should speak up, because the bottom line is supposed to be about sisterhood, and they're supposed to be about empowering women. And if you sit there and laugh about it and giggle about it and don't bring it to that person's attention or hold that person accountable, especially when that person is always talking about accountability to everybody else. They was always on Mia, but about being accountable, and her being held accountable for all the stuff that she had, the lies supposedly she was telling, and all this kind of stuff. So what's good for the rest of the cast members should be good for the old school, the Giselle, Ashley. Well, Ashley usually bring it pretty, she's usually pretty transparent. She usually bring it the way it is. But everything should be equally when it comes to being transparent and standing on your truth. Yeah. That's all I want to say. Y'all have a great day. I got to get up out of here. I'm running a little late. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about last night, Housewives of Potomac, and especially the part about Giselle and Stacey and her not putting Stacey's name on her robe and writing her a note and that. Okay, let me know, because I could be off base. Well, I could be way off base. This is just my opinion. What I think about it. I think it was petty. I think Giselle should have been checked on it. And I think Giselle should be held accountable for that, because there is no reason, no excuse. It's too many other adjectives and verbs and stuff out there she could have used. She didn't have to go deep with it. She could have simply said, enjoy your trip. Thank you for coming. Have a good time. And that's it. That's all she had to do. All right. Y'all have a great day. Grandma's about to get up out of here. And I'll talk back with you guys real soon.